Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran and patch 8.2 is right around the corner. Well, at least the PTR is, so most of you guys should be able to log in and explore some of the features. Speaking about features, in this video I want to talk about 5 top best features coming into patch 8.2. Now, I don't want to talk about like raids or dungeons because that's like the basic stuff. A lot of you guys are going to explore that. No, I want to talk about some of the stuff that's not class balancing, not like real content, but rather talk about changes that's coming to the game that I'm actually personally kind of excited. First of all, mount equipment. Let's be honest, this is one of the coolest things in the game. First of all, I gotta say that Blizzard did something cool here. They found a way how to make mounts a bit more customizable, which is awesome. This feature is something that comes from the Legion war tables, or kind of like the tables that we have right now, but it's actually useful. Back in Legion, you had all these champions. You would send champions on missions, and you would kind of be guessing that, okay, I guess they're somewhere out in the mission, but you could never really see those champions doing missions. And you could outfit them with different items, but you could never really see those champions change in appearance. It's not like they got new weapons, new items, and that whole system transitioned into BFA. So then again, we have all these champions that we can outfit with different items, but you never really see the champions. You never see them do stuff. You never see them look any different. And they found to take that champion equipment system and just throw it onto mounts where it actually makes a difference in the gameplay. These mounts can actually use these equips, and you can see those equips working. And theoretically, you should be able to start using those equips from level 20 when you get your first mount. The equipment that the mounts can be outfitted with makes traveling much easier. For example, water walking. I don't really have the time or the patience to do Mr. Pandara time walking to farm the currency, so I can finally get one of my characters to be holding all this currency so I can save enough to buy myself a water strider, so I can finally walk on water. Unless you're Shaman or a Death Knight, this is one of the coolest things added into the game. I think it's one of the coolest because, honestly, for the sheer sake of convenience, I can buy some sort of a barding or maybe some sort of water shoes for my mount, and I can finally, whether I'm leveling a character or doing some world quests out in the game, can travel across water, especially in Tyrgard Sound, where I feel like a third or even half of the map is just water. Right now in patch 8.2, they revealed that they have at least 3 equips available for mounts. So now I can pick 3 different mounts, equip them with different bardings with different equipment, and use them for different situations. So now you can kind of like customize mounts and pick 3 ones that you like the most and use them for different purposes. Majority of players are going to love this because this is going to make traveling, whether you're questing from level 1, level 20, 60, or even at max level, much easier. Number 2 on this list is going to be Heritage Armor. The Blood Oath Heritage Armor that was introduced recently looks absolutely amazing, I gotta say, and the unique quest to unlock it is also pretty dope. The experience overall is great. I mean, you get to see Arthas take over the Sunwell and exploring the history of Blood Oaths. I mean, it was awesome. And I know you guys will love this. The rep grind for Heritage Armor is super easy. If you're trying to unlock the Blood Oath armor, all you need to be is a Blood Oath and get exalted with Silvermoon, and it's super easy to do. You just need to find the quartermaster for your racial, like for me it will be Blood Oath, put on the Silvermoon tabard and go grind out low level dungeons. So something like BC dungeons or Wrath dungeons, you can just fly through them pretty quickly on a max level character, and it doesn't even take that long. At most it takes maybe even a day. Once you get Exalted Reputation, just go and start the quest line and complete it to unlock your Heritage Armor. Super simple, super easy. When it comes to the Heritage Armor, they are adding in patch 8.2, they're adding both TAUREN and Gnomes, and both of them look amazing. I particularly like the TAUREN set. I love the feathers, I think it looks dope. I like the details on it. And overall, the favorite part for me for TAUREN is the massive totems on the backs, which brings me back to Warcraft 3 days, when the Orc faction had a TAUREN unit you could train from buildings, and these TAUREN carried totems. They weren't small totems that you would place for buffs, but rather there would be massive totems, and you would use those totems to bash through enemies and smash the competition. Overall, it looks very impressive, and I cannot wait to make a TAUREN just to get the TAUREN Heritage Armor. The Gnome Heritage Armor also looks pretty great. I'm not a Gnome main and probably not going to be one for a long while, but I do like their Tinker-inspired Heritage Armor. I like the goggles, the gears, and overall I think the color palette kind of fits to the Gnome race. And number 3 on this list is going to be Pathfinder Part 2. This one is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, the fact that you can fly in patch 8.2 means you can go anywhere you want to. No more restrictions, no more flight paths. You can just go everywhere. Legion and BFA does have pretty good flight path systems, and they saw a lot of improvements from previous expansions, especially with the addition of the flight whistle to get you closer to those flight paths. So for the most part, traveling around the world is not that much of a hassle. But trust me when I say this, when you fly for the first time in BFA, it's going to be the most liberating feeling ever. Now you can fly all over the massive continents, looking for secrets that could be stored up high or even down below. With 8.2, you'll also be able to fly in the new zones added in the new patch, Najatar and Mekagon. So there's a good chance that developers have planned out some secrets somewhere up high in any of the zones, so be sure to be on a lookout. Super excited to be able to let all my flying mounts spread their wings rather than watching all of them hug the floor. For number 4, I'm going to have to go with Heroic Warfronts. This one is going to be a little bit more controversial. Some of you guys might agree, some of you won't. But I think we can all agree that Warfronts are kind of boring. Most of them you can AFK and still get rewarded with decent loot, but that is not what Blizzard sold us back when we talked about a Warcraft 3 mini RTS fighting these epic battles, when it kind of just comes out to be very boring. There's nothing really epic about Heroic Warfronts, but what could be epic is if you just tune up the difficulty a notch. By making Warfronts a little bit more challenging and difficult, requiring a lot more coordination, it might be more fun and exciting. It might make the resources you farm, like the ore and the wood, a lot more impactful, so you don't really kind of just forget about it. You get some people to really farm it out so you can bolster your defenses. I mean, defending outposts and playing for mechanics just doesn't really work right now in current scheme, but maybe if you require a certain amount of healers, DPS, and tanks to make a strike team to play the defense, while the other people might go and farm mats and the other people might go and harass the enemy trying to delay them and slow them, it might make for a much more comprehensive experience. And it honestly might be what Warfronts need. They might need a little bit extra difficulty and coordination requirement in order to make them more fun and challenging piece of content. Also right now, I don't really know of any way to farm up epic version of Warfront gear. Currently, besides doing PvP to get a recolor for it, I actually have no idea how you do it. So maybe with Heroic Warfronts, as they'll be adding the Arathi, Darkshore, and future Warfronts to come, as I'm pretty sure that's the plan is right now, they'll have more of a streamlined way for you to join the Heroic Warfront so you can work towards getting that transmog full set, because some of the sets they added to Warfronts for both Alliance and Horde actually look kind of dope. Last one on the list is going to be Heart of Azeroth. Not the necklace itself, but what the necklace really represents. Blizzard is starting to fill the holes with some of the classes, and there's a lot of holes after the pruning of BFA. The start to all this filling starts with Heart of Azeroth, which is very similar to the artifact weapons of old, with actives as well as passive abilities in order to help fill in the holes and gaps of what a class might need. It's not a perfect system, but at least Blizzard is working towards adding more abilities to classes rather than extracting them. From here on, maybe they could probably balance the necklace a little bit better, and they are looking to balance the necklace as best as possible to make it as best of an experience for everybody by putting it on PTR, letting people test the living hell out of it, very similar to how they did with artifact weapons. So if you want the Heart of Azeroth to be as balanced as best of experience as it can be, please try it out if you have PTR, give them your thoughts, tell them what you think about it, tell them what you like, what you don't like. Hopefully this is a start to a trend where we'll see them adding spells rather than taking them away. Maybe they can even do what they've done with every single expansion, where most of the core abilities get moved to the talent bar. Maybe they could start by looking at some of the classes, seeing what talents every class, every spec uses in every situation, and start taking those talents and adding them back into the spellbooks. For example, a Frost Death Knight without Breathless Ghost just doesn't feel like a full class. So it feels like something like Breath should be part of the basic toolkit, because they kind of rely on it for a good portion of their damage, because the class itself right now, without its certain talents, just doesn't quite work. At least that'll probably be the easiest place for them to start at. Not really sure exactly how they'll do about it, but it looks like it is a trend where Blizzard is thinking about giving classes more rather than less, which is always a good thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know which ones of these you agree with and which ones you don't. And if you had to make a 5 top best features list for 8.2, what would you guys put on that list? Thank you guys so much for watching. 8.2 is looking pretty amazing. Cannot wait to play it. And I'll see all of you guys in the next video.